actor J.D. Williams in his role as Bodie. He is with me now. J.D., great to see you.
Hello,
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So you lived in Baltimore, obviously, 4 years while you were shooting The Wire.
Correct.
There's so many layers of that city. What is your take from having been a resident, citizen only, having been there?
Well, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, so there's a lot of parallels between Baltimore and Newark. So me living down there and moving down there, it just took me a little while to get acclimated. And once I did, I loved it. I love Baltimore as a city. I consider it a second home. And like I said, the parallels between them and Newark, I could see where this could kind of be led to. So,
I mean, The Wire took a hard look at the city of Baltimore and all these different layers. We just heard a former federal prosecutor say, look, there's so many economic issues involved in this case, as many as others. What do you make, what did you see while you were there that could give us perspective on what has happened, let's say, in the past month?
Well, the police force itself, which was surprising to me, I did see a lot of black officers, a lot of officers of color. Where I'm from, you know, most of our officers are Caucasian, white. And so that dynamic in itself, I could tell how they would relate to each other, how a civilian and an officer would relate to each other. And I think that just kind of built on the dynamic that is there now in order for this to come up. I myself was taken into custody once for something that was the way I was taken in was just definitely not equivalent to what actually happened. So, like I said, this is something that was kind of building up for a long time, and I'm, you know, not too surprised, but, you know, I'm saddened by the fact that it has happened.
What do you make of the preliminary charges? That is to say, 6 officers will be charged in a range of assault to second-degree murder. Well,
I mean, I'm just going to do my best as an individual to take from it what I believe that it is. It's progress. You know, we're moving forth into the case and getting some information, which is what I think the majority of the people down there in Baltimore were fighting for, were upset about. The fact that we didn't have any information, there was no progress being made. So I'll just take it for what it is right now, which is, you know, another step up the ladder, another cog in the machine, and let's just continue down this path and make something happen.
So for fans of the show, of which there are many, 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 McNulty calls you a soldier in the show. You sort of play this endearing role of someone who was born into this world sort of filled with drugs and violence. You didn't have a lot of choices. And from what you're saying, it sounds like that is in some ways your take on these socioeconomic patterns in the city, or any city, whether it's Baltimore or Newark.
Exactly. Like you said, any city. I think that Mr. Simon and all the other writers, they added a humanity to the characters and to the city that sometimes is overlooked or sometimes is overshadowed by what the show, the brutality of the show. But yes, the person that I played, along with a lot of other characters in the show, they had many different sides to them. There was a side when they had to be a soldier. There was a side when some of them had to be fathers. The side where some of them had to be killers. So I think that the show definitely covered humanity in its many different slices.
So, J.D., as an actor and as a citizen, is there any one thing that you think could be done from the point of view of citizenship or law enforcement to ease economic tensions and or racial tensions in cities?
Well, I mean, there's a lot, but with anything, it starts with the people. And I'm talking about the civilians and with the officers. Everybody has to open their minds in order to look at each other as people first. So if the officer is not looking at you as a number and you're not looking at the officer as a color, then maybe you two can come to some type of common ground. So it definitely begins with the people. I don't think that it is necessarily all policy problems. I don't think that it's necessarily all, you know, personal problems with the people. It's just that you have to start a dialogue and you have to have an understanding. Once you reach that common ground, and I think a lot of other things can be taken care of.
J.D., it's great to have you with us.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
J.D. Williams joining us there. Actor, you know him in his role as Bodie in The Wire.